Okay, the more I've been looking into this, oh boy, the more I'm finding wrong. So I reached out to Renogy, their technical team, and I told them what I was doing. I gave them a link to the video and asked them if they could help me with this to figure out what value resistor went here and where the little diode that I found rattling around in the case, where it may have went. And I'll put a image on the screen here real quick of their response to me. But in short, they told me that they couldn't help me because they no longer have a schematic to tell me where resistor goes here. So Jesse, when we first started our very first conversation, Jesse gave me a link to a guy who has one of these and had taken it apart to see how it was put together inside. So since Renogy wasn't willing to help me, I felt like I was completely on my own trying to figure this out. And I don't want, like I said in the first part one, I do not want to put a resistor in here that is just a resistor, not knowing the value. So that's why I was reaching out to Renogy for help. So I contacted the guy that Jesse gave me a link to that took this apart and asked him about this and gave him a link to this video. I don't know if he will watch the video or not, but after I reached out to him, within 5 minutes, he responded back. That was amazing that he responded that quickly. But he said that unfortunately, he didn't have this anymore. And at the time this was made, he said it was a prototype. And so I don't know how many of these they actually made. And that's maybe why I can't find these. I can't find these on eBay. I've looked everywhere for these. I can't find them. So I decided to come back in here and start looking around again. When it comes to helping someone through a situation, one of my biggest problems is I don't know when to stop. I don't know when to quit, and I don't give up. But I came back in here and I started poking around, and I did find a bad MOSFET. So that's going to have to be replaced as well. So this repair video is going to end up being pretty interesting, to say the least. I found a bad fuse, and all of these R100s are registering 3 times higher resistance than they should be. So I got to replace all of those. And what I discovered was this fuse here, 563, which is 56 kilo ohms, I believe. 53, yeah, because the 3 stands for 3 zeros. So 56,000 ohm goes to this part of the bridge rectifier, and the opposite side of the bridge rectifier goes to this fuse. So I'm assuming I say that I have a better idea of what resistor to put here, and it's the value of this one as well, because they're both going to the bridge rectifier. The bridge rectifier I tested, it is good. And then I discovered something else right here. Let me zoom in here for a second since I'm talking about this. I have some new, a kit of resistors coming. So I'm hoping that this 563 is going to be in there. If it is, I'm just going to put that here. And then I found this. Look, underneath of this resistor, this is the only place on the board that I can find that there was a component and now that's not there anymore. And it's the exact same texture of the legs on this diode that I found rattling around. And it even looks the same color as the connectors on here, the legs. So I have some of these coming in the mail as well, brand new. But I would just rather put a brand new one there. But I do believe that this is exactly where that diode popped off the board, because it's right underneath of here. And it shows that it's a diode, just like this one. So this is an MDD M7 as well. And this one that was rattling around is also MDD M7 diode. And I believe that's where it went. The screen printing shows the direction of the diode. So, and it's all around the bridge rectifier. So I believe that's where that goes. So I'm going to put that there. Right now, what I need to do is get these 2 boards out of this case, so it'll be a lot easier for me to work on these boards. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Boy, I don't have any fingernails, so it's making it quite difficult. Let's zoom back out here. This one, and big black wire, and the big black one going into the last 2. All right, now this wire here. Oh, this is the light switch for the light. Goes into this socket. And now I gotta try to get this one out. There's a flat cable going to the screen. Okay, let's get that out of here. Then this last plug goes to the light bulb. Okay, now good, that board's out. Okay, now this little board here thing. Okay, now this one looks like, okay, it looks like I'll just unsolder this. Looks like be the best way to do. Yeah, this is the positive and the negative going out to the 12-volt cigarette lighter. So let me unsolder that. Let me get some flux on this, see if that'll help get that unsoldered. Okay, got that board out. On this board, I've got to get this USB, all these legs taken out of the board and install my new USB socket. Hopefully I can get this Firefly fixed for Jesse. I might see if I can find me a replacement terminal block, I guess is what you would call this. I'm not sure. It's a connector for all these wires because I think I damaged some of the screws trying to get them out, because this glue it's in here is crazy strong. So I might see if I can find me a replacement for this and put that in a board new. So there we go. And you know what? Sometimes the best happiness that we can have in life is through helping someone else and not giving up. Renogy turned me down to help me. I started to feel like I was completely on my own because I could not find one of these anywhere. I was hoping I could find one on eBay that was not working. Instead of throwing it away, if somebody wanted, they could have it for 50 bucks. Then I could maybe take it apart, you know, and compare the boards to find out where that diode went. But I do believe now 100% that it was almost like God said, Steve, look at the board again. And when I started seeing where this resistor was coming from, which was the red rectifier, this one also, that blue, was coming from the red rectifier, the opposite side. I know in the first video I said, since I don't have any way of knowing what to even guess, I think this is the best guess, is to use the same kind of resistor that's here as in here, because they're both going to this. So I don't know if that's right. I'm in unknown territory for myself, because whenever I've repaired electronics, I have always worked with through-hole components, such as bridge rectifiers, capacitors, you know, conductors, and fuses. I also found this fuse is bad. I tested it, it's bad. This MOSFET I found out is bad, is dead, so ordered a new one of those. I tested all these other MOSFETs, they seem to be fine, but once I get this out of the circuit, then I'll test everything all over again. I've always been terrified of working on SMDs. So with Jesse reaching out to me and it turning out to be this way, then it's forced my hand into getting into SMD. So I've been doing a lot of studying, a lot of research. That's why this video is taking so long to complete. I'm learning a lot about resistors and capacitors, SMDs and diodes and everything. So I've been doing a lot of testing and learning. This is exciting for me. I love learning something new. So I'm glad that finally I'm getting into doing some of this kind of stuff. I've tested this fuse here in case you're looking at it. This fuse right here, I tested, it's fine. I tested a lot of this components on this board that are fine. I have found, like I said, all these R100 resistors are all the same. It's registering 300 milliohm, which they're supposed to only register 100. So they're registering 3 times higher resistance than they should be showing. So all these, I'm going to just replace all the R100s throughout this board. Whatever happened up here, I think trickled down and caused these to go high resistance, these resistors. But I've tested other resistors and they all test fine. It's just that the R100s are all testing 3 times high. I tested all these 4 diodes and they're all testing at 0.4 volts, so 0.46 or something like that. So I'm hoping that's okay, because most people say they should be testing at around 0.5 to 0.6 but these are like 0.468 or something like that. So I'm hoping those are fine. I tested the other way around and absolutely all of them are testing perfectly. When you test on the reverse, there's nothing happening. So which is the way it should be. A viewer of the channel, Rob, he asked me to send him a photo of this. So I sent it to him and he ran it through AI. AI was saying that the board was severely stressed and it was telling me that this TLP 301 right here, the AI was telling me that that was bad and it suggested that I replace it. Well, I tested this and it tests perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And what I think AI, because AI said that the board was brown yellowish, which showed that there was severe damage. Well, what the AI doesn't know, because it's not human. If human eyes look at this, they'll see, and I'll try to do better later on with this when I start desoldering things. There is a lot of solder paste on this board. Whoever worked on this before didn't clean it. So there's over here, there's a ton of solder flux and over here and down here and over here. So the brown yellow that he saw was all the solder flux. So it was going by the brown yellow, showing a severe stress and damage to the board. So a human could look at this and be like, well, I don't know what the AI is talking about because that's solder flux. But anyway, I think that's why AI got confused. And then I tested what it was telling me to replace and it was fine. It was also telling me that the R311 needs to be replaced. And I'm like, duh, but I didn't know what size value to put in there, and neither did AI. I have nothing to do with AI. I will not mess with AI. I won't do anything with it. But Rob wanted to help, so thank you so much, Rob. I truly, truly appreciate your help. But unfortunately, AI got it wrong in this situation because of all the flux that's on this board. It misunderstood the brown yellow to being flux. So anyway, I need to take all this whole thing out with all the MOSFETs. I got to desolder everything. I'm going to use my solder sucker, take all of that out so I can get this out, so I can replace this known bad MOSFET. And I have that coming. I won't get it until I'm gone on a trip with the Amish. So I won't be back until the 3rd and hopefully be able to start working on this on the 4th. I'll also go over this board and replace the USB. Now what I did was I went into my 3D program and I created a restraint for this USB socket. The only problem is that it won't fit in here because these capacitors are in the way. Yeah, I really don't think it's going to fit. So I have a technique I'm going to try, because this was such a hard press that this is not coming out. So I thought, what if I just trim it a little bit to fit around the capacitors so I can get it in there? And then that way I will still have my resistance. When you plug a USB device in and pull it out, this will stop it from coming all the way out. So anyway, that's my plan. Doing all of this work in here, SMD work, is going to be quite time consuming. So anyway, yeah, this is exciting. And thank you so much again, Jesse. Jesse is feeling bad now, because I was talking to Jesse on the phone and he feels bad that so much is I found wrong with this, and he feels bad that I have to do all this. But you know what? Thank you, Jesse. I'm actually grateful to you for sending this to me, because this has forced my hand into getting into working with SMDs. And because I do repairs a lot with this kind of stuff, the big stuff, and I'm comfortable with that. So it's time I get out of my comfort zone and go a little bit deeper and really get serious about, more serious, I should say, about, you know, doing SMD repair replacements and stuff. So I'm excited to do this. I really, really am. And so there you go. Maybe I'll do a part 3. Maybe I'll just let this continue on through, and maybe I'll just make this the part 2. And then the part 3 will be where I actually start desoldering things and resoldering components in, new components. I'm just so excited. This is so cool. I love this. I really, really do like tinkering around with electronics. So Jesse, again, please do not feel bad. Truly, truly, you've been a blessing sending this to me, because like I said, it's forced my hand to delve deeper into repair, and which is surface mount things. So before, where I was terrified to do that, I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable, and I'm getting more and more excited about doing this and trying to do the best job I can to solder and not make it messy. So when I do part 3, first thing I'm going to do is clean the board up. Most electronic repair people say between 500 millivolt and 600 millivolt is what the drop should be on diodes. Somebody can maybe let me know in the comments about that, because I have a kit of diodes coming, and hopefully this will be in that kit. If not, I'll just have to order some new ones. But if somebody lets me know that has the experience, maybe 460 millivolt is too low for these, and I'll go ahead and replace them. But anyway, let me know. And so, yeah, there we go. This has been such an incredible journey. I'm excited to hopefully get this repaired and working. Well, you know what? I'm not one to give up, so I'm going to keep trying, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, take care of yourself, take care of each other, find someone that needs a reason to go on and give them a race, and find someone that needs some help and reach your hand out to them and say, let me help you. God bless each and every one of us, and I will see you in part 3. One moment, please. In the words of Big Clive. See ya.